Hi, and welcome back to Bounce Forward with me, Tiff. I'd like to acknowledge the traditional custodians of the land on which I'm recording this podcast, the Wurundjeri people of the Kulin Nation. I pay my respects to elders, past and present. Diane had a great question. Best way to set intentions for the month ahead? Micro goals, inch pebbles? Yes, practical advice to set goals. It's such a good topic. And inch pebbles, Diane, you must be a member of my TXO community because I always talk about inch pebbles, that it's not about milestones. It's about breaking down those big mega goals into little tiny inch pebbles. And I love that visual of tiny little pebbles that you can like put in your pocket after you achieve them. So micro goals are definitely the way forward. Setting micro goals can be effective to make progress towards those larger milestones. And I've got some tips. So number one, define your clear objectives. Ensure each micro goal is specific and clear. Instead of like saying to yourself, I'm just going to exercise more, set a goal like I'm going to walk 10 minutes every day. It's specific and it's clear. And you're going to have more success in achieving it if it's specific. Like I always hear, I need to get more flexible. I'm going to get more flexible, or I'm going to achieve the splits by Christmas. No, you're going to do these 3 stretches every day and whatever those stretches are, just 3. So it's definitely being clear and specific. Then you want to find those inch pebbles, break down the larger goals, divide a big goal into small but manageable tasks. If your goal is, say, in my life, one of my biggest things that I've ever done is I've written books, okay? And I've actually published 12 books, so nonfiction and fiction. And my fiction novels were young adult novels, and word count is 80 to 100,000 words. Now, my goal isn't to write a book because it's too overwhelming. The book's never going to get written. But a micro goal could be I'm going to write 500 words a day. And I definitely would write maybe a page a day, half a page. That's all you can do, right? And then the chapters start building and before you know it, you're hitting your word count. But it's definitely breaking down those larger goals into micro goals, the inch pebbles. It's so important. But in saying that, you have to make those inch pebbles achievable. So micro goals should be realistic and attainable within a short time frame. I can't say to myself, I'm going to write 10,000 words a day. It's not going to work. I need to keep motivated and reduce the risk of feeling overwhelmed. So I'm going to pull that back to 500 words, okay? Because I can achieve that and I can achieve it in a short time frame daily. Then you need to set time limits. Assign a deadline to each micro goal. It creates a sense of urgency, and this helps you to stay on track. It's really important that there's some deadlines there. You can't just float around and say one day I'm going to lose 1 kilo or 5 kilos. You need to be like, right, I'm going to lose 300 grams a week and make it your goal, 7 days, you know? Then focus on one at a time. You don't want to be doing heaps at once. 1 inch pebble at a time, 1 micro goal to avoid spreading yourself too thin, because I do see people getting overwhelmed. And the best way to stop yourself from getting overwhelmed is to track your progress. So keep a record of your accomplishments, use a journal, use an app, use a calendar when you complete each micro goal. At the moment, I'm running a sleep challenge and I've got a calendar there and they have to put an emoji on every day in the calendar of how they're feeling according to their sleep. Sad emoji, happy emoji, confused, bit foggy head, mind blown emoji. And that's really helping to track the progress of the sleep. So just get creative with it. Have a little bit of fun. Think, how am I going to track this? And definitely make sure you record it. Another thing to have fun with is celebrating the small wins. You've got to celebrate. Acknowledge and reward yourself for achieving each micro goal, each inch pebble. This boosts morale, encourages continued progress. Like it's something little, like I'm going to buy myself a new crop top and leggings, when I get this PB, a new workout outfit, or when I hit a certain amount of Ks, I get myself a new pair of runners. It's just nice. And those small wins need to be celebrated. And I overshare probably in my community, on Instagram, on things like that. And I share my small wins. But in saying that, you do have to stay a bit flexible too and be prepared to adjust your goals if circumstances change. If you get injured, if your kid gets sick and you can't make training sessions or something like that, flexibility helps you to stay on course. You just have to pivot a little bit, not be the all or nothing attitude where you throw away the entire thing because you had one bad day or two bad days, or there's a deadline that came up with work, or, you can't fit it in. That's okay. And I always say you have to just reset. Stay consistent, making sure that your micro goals are part of your daily routine to build that momentum. And habit stacking is really great there too, because I like to take glucosamine and fish oils, and I always forget to take them. But it's a really good habit for my arthritis and for my brain health and everything. So what I do is I habit stack so I don't forget. I brush my teeth as something that happens every day. I don't have to think about it. And then straight after I brush my teeth, I take my vitamins. Then I never forget. It's stacked. So habit stacking really helps you to stay consistent. And then make sure after a certain period of time, you regularly review your progress and you evaluate and you reflect on what works and what doesn't. People come to me a lot with weight loss journeys, wanting to lose weight. And there's never been that time where they just reflect. I like to say to them, well, what has worked in the past? And they sort of look at me like, oh, I've done a lot of diets and none of them have worked. So why are you talking diets again? It's always good to reflect on what worked, what didn't, have a bit of a postmortem and make sure that you're heading in the right direction, not just achieving goals for the sake of achieving goals, but that the whole approach is holistic. So I hope that helped. Inch Pebbles are the way to go. Micro goals, Diane, and breaking down the milestones. That's probably my biggest tip, and you will definitely reach your goal. Thanks so much for listening to Bounce Forward. I love having your company, so please DM me on Instagram at tiffhall_xo and let me know any topics you'd love me to cover. Don't forget to rate and review me on your podcast app. Speak soon. Happy days.